Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. This is the Road to the Record. And this is Factorio. Yes, it is back. Welcome back, Factorio. I have missed you so much. I've played it on my own, on the side, but to the channel, it has returned. Previously, I had a series where we went for vanilla speedrun, and while I did well and made progress, I still could not get within the requisite time. Just couldn't quite log enough hours to get super fast at it. But we're having a new series coming to the channel here in the form of a scenario. A scenario that is not in the base game. This is something that you would have to download. But the scenario is Diggy. Now, this playthrough, what it is, and this is available, by the way, it's from Redmu, and you can find it on GitHub. So, search Factorio Diggy to get that sorted out. And I'll leave some additional information down in the comment section or in the information section below. But this scenario is wonderful in the additional realism that it adds to the game. It's a simple change that makes such a huge difference to the playthrough. And instead of going for speed like I was before, this is going to be a more slow, gradual playthrough with a long build-up. But I like the potential of what it could bring, and I like how it changes the game. I've done a single playthrough myself on this one. Actually, still haven't even finished it, still working on it, but I've been at it for a while, and definitely a lot of fun. Now, we are going to go full default. Now, this scenario is designed to be a multiplayer scenario. So, get your friends, get on it, work together, but I'm going to go for the hard mode, in that this is going to be single player and everything by default, which really slows it down, because like I said, it is designed to be multiplayer, and you'll see why here in a little bit. But you can see everything on default, and we're going to go ahead and load it up and get going. But first, a quick introduction to what is Factorio Diggy. You can see that unlike the normal map that shows up around us, we are all in black. So here's the introduction from Redmu. Welcome to Redmu. Redmu is a community of 4 players of all skill levels committed to pushing the limits of Factorio multiplayer through custom scripts and crazy map designs. We're a friendly bunch. Our objective is to have as much fun as possible, and we hope you will too. I'll skip over the chat. There are coins involved. There are coins involved in this playthrough. They matter. They are important. That is the one additional piece to this game, besides the one simple yet not so simple change that will entirely alter this playthrough from a regular vanilla Factorio run. And here, you can already see why. Things look a little bit different as we go to get started. But let's figure out what this is, why this is, and what this market building is. So, the rules. By the way, I just earned coins for that. Have fun, play nice. Remember, we are all just here to have fun, so let's keep it that way. No hateful content, personal attacks. I don't need to worry about that because I'm playing a single player. The map information, this is Diggy. The description, dig your way through. The extra info, there's a simple room generator digging around might open rooms, caverns. There's scattered resources. There's resources everywhere on this map. I like how this is set up, and you'll see why as we get going. Scans of the mine have shown greater amounts of resources to be deeper in the mine. There's an alien spawner. Aliens might spawn when mining. Spawn chance is 5%, but the minimum spawn distance is 40 tiles away from center. There's other information. News information. I'll skip past that for now. So, here's what we're facing. There's a score table That has your mine size, and this is my mine size right now. You can see that I am buried within rock, and actually, it is overhead as well. So I am literally in a cave, and this is the beauty of this playthrough. In real life, resources such as what Factorio has are rarely found on the surface. They are inside mountains. They are inside caves. And when you go mining, you mine within the earth, not just scratching the surface. It's such a rare thing to have happen. So, this brings the realism because you are literally starting right in the middle of a cave, and no matter which way you go, no matter which way you dig, you are going to be in a cave. In a cave with rock overhead. And what happens if you dig too wide of a space with a bunch of heavy rock overhead? Eventually, those supports that hold that rock up overhead are going to fail. The weight will be too much, and the cave will collapse. That is this playthrough. So if you dig too far, too wide, you will collapse the cave over your head, and you will be crushed below it. And whatever structures you've built will be crushed below it. So, in this playthrough, it is requisite that we provide support structures as we build larger and larger. And no matter which way I go, no matter which way I dig, I will always have to dig. Hence the name Diggy. So, with that, I better get to it and get started. And as we go along, I'll start to lay out my rules for the playthrough. And I'll leave this up there a little bit longer, but we'll have this come down. Now, within this, there are things that we can unlock by leveling up, and that's actually what's going to matter for my gameplay. So this screen, I'm going to leave up the whole time. I'm going to make the score table go away here in a little bit. But you can see that we get inventory slots, max health, we get mining speed as we level up, and we unlock various things up through 100 levels. Now those things have to do with, as the autosave decides to kick in here, there we go, the marketplace. Nothing is unlocked right now, and I only have 10 coins available just from reading through the information screen. And you can see eventually with those coins in this marketplace, you could purchase things like wood. We're in a cave. There's no trees. We will need to purchase wood. So with that, I'm going to get started, and this is going to be slow. Ready, set, and watch how slow this is. This is one rock. Oh, notice! Mining entities such as walls, stone paths, concrete, and rocks can cause a cave-in. Be careful, miner. Foreman's advice: place a wall every fourth tile to prevent a cave-in. Use stone paths and concrete to reinforce it further. So here's the rules regarding that. Each time you dig out a space, it affects the area around it in a 9x9 space. If you take out too big of an area, and there's not enough support around it, it will cave in, as aforementioned. The safe is to place a wall every fourth tile. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, wall. Make a 4x4 grid. Simple enough. But you can expand beyond that. You can lay down concrete path, and that's why we have larger than a 4x4 space right now. That gives you a little more room to work with and prevents collapse. You can use reinforced concrete to go every sixth, but all of that uses a whole lot of stone and resources, which, well, we don't have that right now. It did give me a little bit to start with, and the most important thing of all that I'm going to put down in my hotbar right away are these walls, because we will be using those all day, every day. These are the coins. We've got some iron gear wheels. We've got some iron plate to start with, but we don't have anything else. Now, you will notice here in a second, as I dig this out, this big rock, it says it's worth 20 stone. Check my inventory. There's no stone. Let's dig this rock. We dug that rock. We don't have 20 stone. Reason for that is this stone is not the kind of stone that is mineable. You might have noticed in real life that there is various forms of stone, and there's a coin on the ground, by the way. So as you dig, you do unlock coins. And I'm going to go ahead and keep digging while discussing what this playthrough means, how this is going to work, how it all plays out. You can see that I pick up XP for each stone that I dig. Larger stones take longer to dig, but are worth more XP, as I just got 10 on that one. This is a smaller one, went a little faster, back down to 5 XP. Now that amount will also vary as you level up. It will increase gradually, very slightly, but it will increase. But it also, each level costs a lot more to get. You can see that I have 75 total experience there on the left-hand column, now 80, and this is my progress bar. I'm nearly a quarter of the way to our very first level. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm not opening up a big space. I'm digging in a straight line. What that allows to happen is if I dig an open area, I create a big wide opening, and we create the possibility that there will be a cave-in. By digging a small channel or lane through here, the walls themselves will still support this area with ease. So 4x4, use walls to keep supports up when the area grows and expands. Dig, 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 get experience. The experience will unlock things. The coins that I find will allow me to purchase things like wood, and we'll be able to actually get things off and rolling. I need to find resources. I need to find them soon. The rocks that we dig, whether they have coal, whether they have stone in them, are useless. Now, for my playthrough, if you've seen my channel before, Game of Decathlon, it's not just the basis for my name, but it is actually something that I do with the channel. Now, you don't have to see the other games. You could treat it like any standard YouTube channel if you want, and we are beginning to find some resources here. As we open this area up a little bit, you can see there is some coal on the ground. Now, if I mine this, as you'll see here in just a second, we are mining actual coal. So regular resources do exist in this game. You just have to find them. I'm close enough to home at the moment that I have not opened up any aliens yet, but as you dig, you will get surprises. There will be aliens. They will show up. They get progressively tougher as the gameplay goes on. Now, what I'm trying to do in the Game of Decathlon is I'm trying to master 10 games. So I always have 10 games active at any one time, making life far more difficult. Typical YouTube channel, they play 1, 2, maybe 3 games. And you can start getting really good at 1, 2, or 3 games, especially if they are all of the same subgenre. You know, for example, you do nothing but racing games. Well, if you do nothing but racing games, you're going to get really good at racing games eventually. And it's easy to get that kind of support. You have a niche. Everybody follows it. My niche is that I'm trying to master 10 games. Holy crap, that's a lot of work. Believe me, I've been at this for a while now, and I've gotten pretty good at a couple games, and I'm definitely good at plenty of games. But am I at the level of mastering it? Not so much. Most of them. It's really challenging. And that's the point. I'm going for a challenge. An epic challenge of mastering 10 games. Okay, back to this. So I just placed my first wall structure. Now you can see I'm surrounded by walls here. So there was no danger, but eventually I want to open this area up because I want to get these resources. So from here, if I count up, well, that's still black area. By the way, this generates automatically as you dig. So there is no existing map to follow. If I go this way, same problem. I go this way, well, now we're starting to talk because that's at least, wall structure area that I am digging and opening up, and that will help support it. But here's where I'm kind of getting into this. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't quite get to it yet, but you can see we're almost at that point now. So if I kept digging left and right of this space, I would really weaken this area, especially if I do it beyond by expanding this area as well. So the wider or taller your area gets, the more open it gets, the more the risk. Nice, we just picked up a coin, and eventually I will be digging out a 4x4 grid here. And you'll see how this works in just a moment. Now usually, in Factorio, by this point, we would have done a fair amount of work. Well, we have done a fair amount of work, but we literally have nothing to show for it. And that's one thing I do like about this playthrough, is it's a little more subdued, a little slower. The frantic pace that existed in my last playthrough of Factorio isn't there this time, and I really like that. I might be quick as an athlete and play aggressive and play hard, but I'm more of a point guard or team captain, field captain type, where I kind of help dictate the pace and I read things, and in my mind it slows it down, what I'm seeing, what I'm reading. So here you go. Here's our first grid. It's technically 5x5 because you have 4 spaces further. So it's actually every 5th that I'm putting one in. But that is enough support. It gives me enough room. And inside I have a 3x3. And so many of our objects are 3x3 in game. Of course, I don't have anything unlocked right now as we are just getting started. But I want to start seeing what I can get from this. Well, I know I need some coal, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some. And this is that tricky part at the beginning, is I don't have anything. I mean, we don't have any stone to make furnaces. I can't make any burner mining drills right now without that stone. So I need to find some stone. So we're going to keep moving along here in just a moment, as this is literally just 4 coal right here. And that's one of the tricky things about this playthrough, is the resources can be scarce, at least early on. And they work differently than they do in the vanilla game. And I actually really like how this is different. But as you can see, now that I've dug this out, we're at a bit of a risk of collapse, but that's why these supports are here. By the way, we hit level 1. Level 2, though, is where we unlock wood, and we're definitely going to need that for power poles when that time comes, though we're not quite ready to start drawing on power. I'm going to dig far enough up here to get another support structure in place. Now, if you play this yourself, you'll quickly find that the standard is 4 rocks for every grid spot. 2, 3, 4. There we go. And this gets a lot easier to follow kind of once you have a basic grid. You can kind of see and just follow the pattern, and you don't have to spend all day counting, which does get a little annoying. But if you're on it, you can eyeball pretty well your grid. And it's only as you kind of get out of the area, starting beyond, new territory, that you're going to have to count periodically. But you're only counting to 4, so that's not exactly a big deal. Now, it is recommended, if you're going to play single player as I am now, it is recommended by Rednew that you alter the settings, which I did not do. I am going full default on this. But alter the settings, and in doing so, increase the mining speed. But I don't like that. I really don't. I like playing things as they are meant to be. Alright, we are finding additional resources. We found some copper, we're finding more coal, we found a little bit of iron. You can see they are all scattered about. Now, it doesn't quite work like this as we go along, but there is so much mixture of resources within this. They are overlapping within one another. And that's more realistic to real life as opposed to just finding one resource. You tend to find multiple resources. Yes, you find pockets of much larger one than the other, and you'll see that this is the case for this as time goes on. But at least initially, it's pretty wide open on how that works. Now, back to the point of the gaming decathlon and what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to master the game. Now, how do I determine that? 4, okay, that's what I thought. Well, how I determine that can be a little tricky. At each game varies. Some games have very simple scoring structures. Others, more complex. Some games I would love to have on the channel, but just don't have an adequate way of scoring them. Something that works. Some games don't have enough content, way too short, aren't really considered master if it's a 5-minute playthrough and you're just trying to master a 5-minute playthrough. That doesn't count. The decathlon, the whole point of the real life decathlon is its endurance. It's mastering of multiple skills. The winner of the Olympic decathlon is seen as somebody who is considered the best athlete in the world. Keyword athlete. Those who are familiar with American football, aka the sport that does not use their foot with the ball, except for 2 players out of 75 on a roster. And in cases of colleges, sometimes over 100. But in that sport, the athlete is the player who can play any position. Doesn't really have a defined position, or at least not initially. Okay, well, we're not finding much in terms of resources in this area, and what I really need right now, I need stone. I'm digging lots of stone, lots of rock, but unusable rock at the moment, so I keep digging. And this little pocket, this little area that I found, looks like it does continue here to the right, aka the east, and I'll kind of use that. Up is north, right is east, and so on. As we find more copper as we push this way, but still not finding stone. Anyway, the way the Olympic decathlon works. Oh, hello, and oh gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. This is so many enemies to find this early in the game. No, I'm gonna die. And I died. Okay. So, here's the fun part. I was just starting to get into how the scoring works. base score for the game is 1,000 points. That's how the Decathlon works. 10 sports, 10 athletic events, each one worth 1,000. Combined total means you can get 10,000. I have 10 games on the channel, each one worth 1,000 points. You can get 10,000. For this game, I'm trying to get 1,000 points. This comes with 100 levels. 100, 1,000. Each level, 10 points. There you go. Really simple. But wait, oh, it's not that simple. Okay, so I get to level 100. A couple things have to happen. One, to complete it, I have to launch a rocket. So that's still the objective of the playthrough. Level 100 and launch a rocket. Alright. There's that. Enough said. Simple, right? Yeah, not quite. What just happened? Well, that was unlucky and unfortunate. I opened a giant cavern that went well beyond the 40 tiles of base area where you start safe. I didn't have any ammo. I didn't have a weapon. That's something you're supposed to get in that start. It was really unlucky that I unlocked such a huge cavern that came with so many biters that I could do literally nothing about. I killed 11 of them before they got me, but there was still 7 or 8 left, so I think I killed just over half. But I died. Now, this is a game that is, you die, it's game over. You can load an autosave. You can restart your playthrough. If you continue, you're done. Well, actually, I don't know. There's exit. Continue might work, actually. We'll try that. The other risk is the cave collapses. Now, the cave collapses and deaths are going to come with a penalty. Oh gosh, I'm going to respawn here soon, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4. Yeah, there's still a lot of them left. Oh, that was so close. That was so close to death number 2. There are still some of them over there. Yeah, look how huge. That is the largest cavern I have ever seen be opened all at once. And this is where most of them came from as that got to that 40 tiles out. You can see that there is water, the necessary item in order to get power. We are just about recovered. We'll head back in there soon. Each death and each cave collapse comes with a penalty away from that score of 1,000. I will no longer master this game. I've just started this playthrough. Ooh, wow, there's more left alive than I thought. I thought there was only the 1, but there were 3. He is busy beating up a stone, as is he. There you go. And there's some stone. That's what I need. The actual stone. I'm going to dig this out. So I just lost 25 points. Each cave collapse or each death will minus 25 points from that overall score. So I will never see 1,000. The most I can get now, 975. So hopefully that is my first and only death, as I just avoided very narrowly making that 2. By the way, that was surprising and scary, and yeah. Now we're gonna hit 30 stone here in a second. There we go. Alright, let's make some stone furnaces. Let's go ahead and make all 6. Now, what I don't have is any iron or iron plates. Oh, I dropped everything on death. Oh, that's not good. Do I have a body in here somewhere? I do. Okay. There we go. Okay, we recovered our lost items. Now, here's the reason why this area hasn't collapsed. And you may have seen, as soon as it opened the cavern, you saw rocks falling in towards the water. Well, you can see we are just about at that point where things could and should collapse. This stone is doing a lot to hold this area up. That biter was trying to take this stone out. Now, in doing so, that could create a collapse. You can see we're just about small enough, just about skinny enough to prevent collapse. If this section was wide open as well, certainly the middle would have collapsed. So I will need to put stone structures up, support structures, before we really grow and expand within this area whatsoever. And I will follow this grid pattern as I do so. But I need some burner mining drills, and let's go ahead and make 3. 3 is a good number. I need to start getting some resources. I need coal. I need iron. I'm going to need copper. I need all of the above. So we're going to start simple. And there you go. And we're going to put in coal. Just a couple to start. Now I need boxes to store these things, and well, I don't have any of that. I need some iron plate, so I better get some of that. So let's put here, put a few in there, and I'm going to need a stone furnace. Let's put that up there. Some fuel for that. I do have a little bit of iron plate, but not enough for a box. I need 3 more. Here's this tricky part. I need to pick up what it's sending down, so I'm just gonna kind of stand here and hold F for a little bit. And maybe while I'm at it, I'll mine some coal myself. Alright, so we picked up a little bit of copper, we picked up a little bit of coal. Let's put some coal in there, and let's grab some iron ourselves. And we'll put that in there as well. Alright, now we can make an iron chest. And that'll keep running. We'll start collecting those resources. Definitely need the iron right now more than the copper. And I think I have another miner here. Yes, I do. Tricky part here, though, is still lacking enough iron plate. So, like I said, and from what you can see here, is this is absolutely a slow start compared to vanilla Factorio. It is super challenging. Imagine if I had a group, we probably could have taken those guys down. Maybe. Or maybe we all would have died. Okay, there's another chest. There. Take that. You're going to need some coal. Put some of that in there. Alright, now I still have a couple stone furnaces. But I'm going to need more iron to make another burner. And then we'll start trying to grab resources here as well. Now, here's what I like to do. As you can see that I'm starting to grab resources. Now, I will always keep walls in this first slot for a while until I get things truly automated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put those raw resources down here so that I can quickly grab them. So there's coal, stone, iron ore, and copper ore. That way, I know what I have. I have a count. Plus, I could easily place them in there and retrieve them later. Now, I'm still lacking in stone, so why don't we go manually dig some up again from the amount we found up here. So do that briefly. Now, there are no spawners in this playthrough. It is something that happens as you dig. They will spawn in the areas that you dig. So you can get a few if it's just from the rocks that you dig out, or you could ultimately get what just happened with me, open a giant cavern, and there are tons within that cavern. Alright, now we're starting to come along a little bit. We can get another mining drill. And we're going to need 4 plate, which we have now. Make another chest. Now, I need a little more space for this. I can dig that out safely. And you can also see, in order to find those items quickly, that I should probably get them added to my toolbar for now. I'll change these out later as we grow and evolve. But I'll put an iron chest down. I will put down the burner drills here as well. Okay, now I do have some stone furnaces, and while I don't necessarily need them yet, I will definitely need copper. I might as well get it going. And there you go. Got my base resource gathering, at least going. I am most of the way through level 1, closing in on level 2. I'm going to need some supports before I can dig out any of that cavern. Now, this is not a resource-rich area. Oh, there's some stone right there. Just a little bit. 16, I'll just grab that. Oh, something I just discovered. The death came with 50 experience points lost. That is really good to know. Now, there are other things here about the menu settings. You can manage polls with the multiplayer. You have the player list. Alien evolution progress. This is definitely one to watch out for. This determines how tough the opponents are, and as you go along, as you expand, this number is going to get larger and larger. You can manage tasks. There's blueprint helper, and there is a score chart here for satellites launched, fighters liberated, buildings by hand, buildings by robots, trees chopped, rocks smashed, kills by trade, coins spent. I'll keep that closed for right now, though. Just a few spots of stone left. Don't mind if I do. Thank you. Alright, and back to this. Back to that. Oh, no, you are out of resources. There's still that little bit of coal right here. I'd like to get my hands on. Alright, now things are starting to come along. Now, in order to make walls, we're going to need stone brick. I could make stone brick now in a stone furnace. So, I'm going to take one, and we're going to start making some stone brick as well, because that's going to be hugely important to us. Oops, did not mean to put 50 in there. There we go. That's going to be hugely important to us for crafting walls. Unfortunately, I haven't even unlocked that yet, so it's going to take a little time to get that part sorted out. We're going to need to get some research going ASAP, but we're going to need power for that. So that's going to be our first necessity, is getting power. Alright, so how are we looking now? We've got 45 iron plate, we've got 61 copper plate. Let's start. We've got one burner left. And I'm going to need to start gathering the resources for power. The power is obviously going to go somewhere near this water. I'm going to need to put some walls up. I only have 4 right now. That's going to be a little tricky. And then we're going to need power poles as well, which means we're going to need to spend a little bit on wood. But that also means we need to hit level 2 before we can buy wood in the marketplace. These items in the marketplace are not available until you've achieved that level. Which means ultimately I need to do a little more digging, and I want to do it close to home. So we're going to start digging to the west just a little bit. And hopefully I don't hit a giant cavern and die. But this way we can hit level 2 and purchase some wood. Because I still have no weapons. And I'd like to take care of that. Now actually, speaking of, maybe I could and should take care of that. We'll get a couple clips and a pistol. Now we can at least kind of defend ourselves. Now, I could essentially make a circle around the rock structure that we have right now supporting that without having to put up any additional supports and not get too far away from base, and maybe we will do that at one point if necessary. Build some rings, but for now, kind of dig in a straight line because we need resources. If you couldn't tell, we need resources. Now, other things are going to grab research besides digging rocks, or experience points besides digging rocks. Completing research, building things, all of that's going to feed into the experience that we gain. So there's different ways to do it. But right now, we're pretty limited on what we can do without that experience. Looks like we've found some copper. This steel pickaxe will be the first piece of research that I can get my hands on, along with stone walls. I will be going for those first and foremost. One's going to allow me to dig faster. One's going to allow me to put up supports. Everything else is secondary to that. But looks like we found a decent amount of resources here. Can't expand this too much without risking collapse. Nearly there, nearly there. That should just about do it. Come on, come on. There it is. Level 2. And you can see it is team-based, so if you're doing the multiplayer, you don't each have your own level. Your team has a level. And we have reached level 2. Wood is now available in the marketplace. And we're going to buy some wood. Spend 40 coins, we have 125. That's going to get me 10 wood. So we're going to do that again. There's 20, there's 30. That was pretty much all the coins we had. We will definitely get more coins, but now we have 30 wood. And we're going to be able to build some electric poles. And let's just go ahead and build all 30 of those. So we have nothing else that we're going to need it for in the short term. Next up, we can start acquiring that power. We can already do an offshore pump. We can already do a boiler. We're going to need more iron for a steam engine, but that's going to have to happen within the next episode. We've gotten the series started. We've died once. That's already all the resources right there. Pick that up. Now reuse, recycle, reuse. We're started. We don't even have power yet. Welcome to 45 minutes of digging your way through a cave. But you can see, made some progress. We opened that huge area. That was a real shocker, but it was an exciting start, and now you see the basics of how it works. What it takes to get to 1,000, 100 of these, but not dying, which we've already managed to do once. So again, we're playing for 975 now instead of 1,000, but that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.